of nationalism in Europe. If you look at the map of mid-18th century Europe, you will find that there were no nation-states as we know them today. What we know today as Germany, Italy, and Switzerland were divided into kingdoms. Duchies and cantons whose rulers had their autonomous territories. Eastern and Central Europe were under autocratic monarchies, within the territories of which lived diverse people, marked with diversity in terms of language spoken and way of life. Such differences did not easily promote a sense of political unity. The only tie binding these diverse groups together was a common allegiance to the emperor. So how did nationalism and the idea of the nation-state emerge? The aristocracy and the new middle class. Socially and politically, a landed aristocracy was the dominant class on the continent. The members of this class were united by a common way of life that cut across regional divisions. They owned estates in the countryside and also townhouses. They spoke French for purposes of diplomacy and in high society. Their families were often connected by ties of marriage. This powerful aristocracy was, however, numerically a small group. The majority of the population was made up of the peasantry. To the west, the bulk of the land was farmed by tenants and small owners, while in Eastern and Central Europe, the pattern of landholding was characterized by vast estates which were cultivated by serfs. In Western and parts of Central Europe, the growth of industrial production and trade meant the growth of towns and the emergence of commercial classes whose existence was based on production for the market. Industrialization began in England in the second half of the 18th century. But in France and parts of the German states, it occurred only during the 19th century. In its wake, new social groups came into being. A working class population and middle classes made up of industrialists, businessmen, professionals. In Central and Eastern Europe, these groups were smaller in number till late 19th century. It was among the educated, liberal middle classes that ideas of national unity, following the abolition of aristocratic privileges, gained popularity.